The first time I came face to face with Toni Morrison was in Maya Angelou's backyard for a gathering of some of the most illustrious Black people you've ever heard of, to celebrate Toni Morrison's Nobel Prize victory. My head and my heart were swirling. Every time I looked at her, I couldn't even speak. I had to catch my breath. And I was seated across from her at dinner, and there was a moment when I saw Miss Morrison just gesture to the waiter for some water, and I almost tripped over myself trying to get up from the table to get it for her. And Maya said, "Sit down." We have people here to do that. You're a guest. So I sat down. I obeyed, of course. But it was not easy, I tell you, to sit still or to keep myself inside my body. I felt like I was all of 7 years old, because after all, she was there. And so many others that day. Mari Evans, Sister Angela Davis was there, Nikki Giovanni was there, Rita Dove was there, Toni Cade Bambara was there. It was a writer's mecca. And I was there, sitting at the table, taking it all in. And as I look back, that day remains one of the great thrills of my life. You know, I didn't really get to speak to Toni Morrison that day. I was just too bedazzled. But I had already previously called her up to ask about acquiring the film rights to Beloved. After I finished reading it, I found her number, called her, and when I asked her, is it true that sometimes people have to read over your work in order to understand it, to get the full meaning? And she bluntly replied, "That, my dear, is called reading." I was embarrassed, but that statement actually gave me the confidence years later when I formed the book club on the Oprah show to choose her work. I chose more of her books than any other author over the years. Song of Solomon first, Sula, The Bluest Eye, and Paradise. And if any one of our viewers ever complained that it was hard going or challenging reading Toni Morrison, I simply said, "That, my dear, is called reading." There was no distance between Toni Morrison and her words. I loved her novels, but lately I've been rereading her essays, which underscore that she was also one of our most influential public intellectuals. In one essay, she said, "If writing is thinking and discovery and selection and order and meaning, it is also awe and reverence and mystery and magic. And this, facts can exist without human intelligence, but truth cannot." She thought deeply about the role of the artist and concluded that writers are among the most sensitive, most intellectually anarchic, most representative, most probing of all the artists. She believed it was a writer's job to rip the veil off, to bore down to the truth. She took the canon and she broke it open. Among her legacies, the writers she paved the way for, many of them here in this beautiful space tonight, celebrating her. Toni Morrison was her words, she is her words, for her words often were confrontational. She spoke the unspoken, she probed the unexplored. She wrote of eliminating the white gaze of not wanting to speak for Black people, but wanting to speak to them, to be among all people. Her words don't permit the reader to down them quickly and forget them. We know that. They refuse to be skimmed. They will not be ignored. They can gut you, turn you upside down, make you think you just don't get it. But when you finally do, when you finally do, and you always will when you open yourself to what she is offering, you experience, as I have many times reading Toni Morrison, a kind of emancipation, a liberation, an ascension to another level of understanding. Because by taking us down there amid the pain, the shadows, she urges us to keep going, to keep feeling, to keep trying to figure it all out with her words and her stories as guide and companion. And she asks us to follow our own pain, to reckon with it, and at last to transcend it.